Welcome! It's Valentine's Day, and I thought perhaps it would be fun to examine why I'm single, but virtually. I first met this walking red flag generator at a local nightclub. This is Don, one of the default characters that was generated when I started up a new save file. For whatever reason, my character seemed to get along very well with him, much more than with the other available gentlemen in the town. I started off by learning that Don is the romantic type, which immediately made me excited because I could use some romance. I've always had a preference for a nerdy jock type, which is exactly what Don embodies. I mean, look at those glasses. The haircut, body type, tattoo, earrings, and especially that armless shirt, all fit perfectly into what I find attractive. That confidence he radiates can sometimes be a bad thing, though, as I discover later. Then I learn that he's active, which is alluring because I still have the mind of someone who isn't disabled and enjoys going out on adventures a lot. Plus, muscles are always nice. By the way, I was originally here to speak with Travis, but he was just angry all the time, or I'd wander off like this instead of showing interest in talking or dancing. Yes, I'm an attention hoe, and Don was fine with chatting all night. Then, I learned that Don is single. That should have been my first question, but it's very like me to dance around asking a question I'm afraid to ask. Now here is where some of the red flags come in. If you ask someone about their romantic preferences, and they reply with, "I'm not sure, I'm still exploring," you will probably get hurt when they decide they're not that into you after all. I'm definitely not talking from experience. But everything went well. And Don would call here and there. This time it was about possibly switching careers. I tell him to make his own darn decisions. This next train of calls should have been a major red flag. He had called to ask about another girl he was interested in, and I didn't tell him to go in either direction because I was trying to not be that person. But who calls and discusses their interest in other people with someone who expresses interest in them? What irks me is that it made me like him more. What is wrong with my brain? Thankfully, I thought, his interest in the other girl didn't work out, but he got the new job he wanted, so that was good. I ended up throwing a dinner party and invited a few people, including both Travis and Don, to give Travis another chance. Travis had zero interest in being friendly with me, so I talked to Don more and more, until I decided to try a first kiss. This created an awkward encounter, obviously, and Travis did the only good thing to do in this situation, started playing on his phone. We just start ignoring Travis, which is kind of mean when looking back at it. But I remember feeling a weird triumph when I had something going with Don despite trying for a couple weeks to even become friends with Travis to little avail. I'm a bit petty sometimes. After Travis left, I decided to ask Don to sleep over for the night. I've always tended to move kind of fast when I'm vibing with someone, which isn't the best way to be. At least I know that about myself now, so I can be less impulsive. Then it's time to go for the woohoo. That's such a fun word to say. It reminds me of chocolate milk. If you know, you know. After being able to convince Don to move in with me, we had a few rough moments. Don had the non-committal trait, which meant I had to stop him from breaking up with me a couple of times. This is never a good sign, but I figured he knew he was confident and attractive, and that's normal, right? Haha, ha, ha. Regardless, we ended up getting close enough that I proposed to him, and he accepted. Thankfully. He better have. He better have. The wedding was nice. I still think it's funny that Travis even agreed to attend at this point, but sometimes the free cake is just too alluring, I guess. Everything worked out in the end, which probably isn't how it would actually happen in real life. Some of those red flags were serious red flags, and in real life, I did not have direct control over someone else. But, you know what, I'll enjoy it while it's here. In this virtual reality. Then we ended our wedding night with some chess, which is exactly the type of nerdy thing I would probably actually do. Stay radiant, and remember to treat yourself today if you're single, and even if you aren't.